Hi everyone, and welcome to The Sleepy Scientist. I'm really happy you're here. Tonight, we're going to go on a calm and quiet trip to learn something amazing. So get comfy, take a deep breath, and let's enjoy this peaceful science story together. Before we start, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from and what time is it for you right now? If you like relaxing science videos, don't forget to tap the like button. Now let's begin. Beneath your skin, in a world so small you can't see it, a vast and quiet city is alive. It doesn't breathe like you do, but in a way, it hums with its own kind of breath, a soft exchange of life and energy, moment by moment. This city is made of tiny buildings called cells, and they are the reason you exist. Each one is a room, a factory, a memory, a signal. They live not alone, but together, millions upon millions, forming the soft tissues of your cheeks, the lining of your lungs, the electric pulse of your heart. If you could drift into this world like a feather caught in a breeze, you'd see neighborhoods of bone cells, immune cells like roaming sentries, red blood cells like silent delivery boats flowing in endless red rivers. In the city of cells, each one has a role, a quiet duty it performs without question. Some cells shape bone, laying down calcium like bricklayers building towers. Others guard your body with fierce, unseen strength, recognizing invaders by scent alone. Some cells carry oxygen, the gift of breath, from your lungs to your fingertips. Others are like gentle scribes, writing and copying your story in strings of DNA again and again, so that nothing is ever truly forgotten. Each cell has walls, but they are not harsh. These walls breathe. They let in nutrients, send out waste, and whisper in chemical languages. Proteins act like workers, always moving, always adjusting, always preparing the cell for what comes next. Now imagine looking closer, deep inside just one cell. You would see a universe spinning with energy and movement. Inside the nucleus, long spirals of DNA curl and stretch like sleeping dragons holding every instruction needed to build a human. Tiny engines called mitochondria generate power, buzzing softly like a quiet generator on a still night. There are folded halls made of membranes, endoplasmic, reticulum and Golgi bodies, where messages are packed, sorted, and sent like handwritten letters. Every second, these structures make choices. They decide what to build, what to break down, and what to send beyond the cell's walls. The cell, though silent, is never still. The more you look, the more you realize that your body is not a single place, but many places at once. You are not one being, but trillions. Each cell is its own tiny world, and yet none survive alone. Like lanterns on a sea of night, they glow in connection. They signal with calcium bursts, stretch toward wounds to help you heal, and hold hands across the vast highways of your nerves. When you learn something new, when you remember a song, when you move your fingers across a piano, cells are talking, shifting, reshaping. They are the language you don't hear but always speak. You are built not by command, but by communion. Think of your skin, a soft, breathable shield. It looks like a simple covering, but it is layered with cells like tiles on a mosaic. Keratinocytes rise from the base, slowly dying as they move upward, forming a gentle armor that renews every month. Underneath, cells feel temperature, pain, pressure. They send messages to your brain before you even realize something has touched you. These are cities of awareness, responding to the world while you dream, while you rest. They are tiny, loyal guardians of the self. And then there are the cells that repair. When you are cut, they arrive like builders after a storm. They seal the wound, form a scab, rebuild what was broken. They don't ask if it was fair or deserved, they simply begin. Every scar you carry is a quiet memory of this effort, a soft reminder that your body always tries to heal. Even now, this very second, some cells in you are dying, and others are being born. They do not grieve or celebrate, they just change, they just serve. The cities inside you keep going even when you forget they are there. If you could hear them, perhaps they'd sound like whispers, like the rustle of leaves in a nighttime forest, or the soft hiss of rain falling far away. But they don't speak in sound. They speak in signals, in molecules, in pulses. They speak in unity. Your body is not a machine. It's a living conversation spoken in cells, and inside every single cell is a history older than you, older than your parents, older than the stars that form the dust in your bones. These cities of cells, these living rooms of life, are not just part of you. They are you. Now rest a moment in that thought. All you are, all you feel, begins in the smallness of a single cell. And yet in that smallness, a whole world exists, layered, lit, alive. Let's drift deeper now into the gentle machinery that keeps your body alive. Not just the shapes of the cells, but how they speak to one another in silence. It's easy to imagine that cells are just building blocks like bricks in a wall, but they are so much more. They are like neighbours in a quiet village, passing messages over fences, responding when someone cries out in pain or celebrates with growth. When you touch something hot, your skin cells don't just burn, they scream a chemical alarm. That alarm rushes through your nerves, and in less than a blink your hand jerks back. But you never told it to move. Your cells decided, your body answered. Within this cellular symphony, no one conductor waves a baton. Instead, every cell listens and reacts. Signals travel not through sound, but through shape. Proteins unfold, fold again, twist like ribbons. When one changes shape, another responds. This is how insulin opens doors in cells to let sugar in. This is how stress tells your heart to beat faster. This is how your brain learns what to remember and what to forget. The language of cells is not built of words, but of form and function. And somehow, without a single spoken word, your entire body understands. Now think of your heart, always beating even when you sleep, even before you were born. Each beat starts in a special group of cells called the pacemaker. These cells don't wait for instructions. They pulse with rhythm all their own, sending electrical waves like ripples in a pond. Muscle cells nearby feel the ripple and contract in reply, and blood is pushed gently through your veins. All this happens in silence, in darkness, in the warm ocean of your chest. These cells do not know your name, but they know their job, and they never forget it. And what of your brain? The quiet commander, made not of thoughts, but of cells. Neurons are shaped like trees, with branches and roots and a space between. In that space, yes, the synapse, a spark leaps. That spark is a signal, a decision, a memory being formed. Every thought you've ever had began as this spark. But even here, cells work together. Supporting cells feed and clean the neurons. Immune cells guard against infection. Blood vessels carry food. This tiny world is not just intelligent. It is wise. It grows stronger when you learn, softer when you rest, brighter when you hope. Cells don't live forever, but they don't fear death either. They have a plan. Some, like skin cells, are replaced every few weeks. Others, like certain neurons, last a lifetime. Some divide and multiply like a growing forest. Others stand watch, like ancient trees that never move. When a cell is damaged beyond repair, it often chooses to die in a quiet process called apoptosis. It doesn't fight or panic. It simply folds in on itself, and nearby cells carry away the pieces, making room for something new. There is no waste in this system, only balance. Now journey into your blood, where the tiniest travellers float. Red blood cells, smooth, soft discs, carry oxygen like tiny boats. They have no nucleus, no centre of memory. They are created with one purpose, to carry life then fade away. White blood cells, on the other hand, are like watchful scouts. Some remember every virus you've met. Others swallow invaders whole. And when you are wounded, platelets rush in like builders, patching holes and calling reinforcements. In just a single drop of blood, 1,000 tiny dramas unfold. Even in the darkest places of your body, life continues with purpose. Inside your bones, marrow creates cells day and night. Inside your liver, toxins are filtered and broken down. In your lungs, air is turned into breath. Each place has its own rhythm, its own quiet heartbeat, but none of it could exist without the cells that build, guard, and renew. They are the hands behind every motion, the minds behind every reflex, the breath behind every sigh. What's most extraordinary is that every cell in your body came from one, a single fertilized egg, smaller than the dot of a pencil. That one cell divided and divided again, until the story of you was written in living form. The cells did not need to be told what to become. Some turned into eyes, others into ears, or became bone, others blood. They followed a silent map written in your DNA, unfolding step by step into a whole person, into you. And still, the map is read every day. When you digest food, when you feel fear, when you sleep and dream, your cells are turning the pages. They read the instructions, make the proteins, and carry out your life in real time. And though you are not aware of it, every moment of your life is built on this constant reading, translating, responding. Your body is a living book, written in the language of cells. Let yourself rest in that thought. Deep inside you, in darkness and silence, tiny worlds are spinning. They do not need your attention. They only need space and time, and in return they carry you through life, gently, loyally, always. Now let us float gently toward the closing of this quiet journey, drifting through the final thoughts of these hidden cities inside you. Though you may never see a single cell with your eyes, they are as much a part of your story as your voice or your heartbeat. In fact, they are the reason either exists at all. Every cell is not just a piece of you, it is a living memory, a moment of time caught in motion. It holds the echoes of ancestors, the instructions from the past, the blueprints of every smile you've ever made. And even though cells are small, their lives are grand in purpose. They connect the ancient past to this very moment, stitching time together inside the soft shell of your body. In your gut, deep within the coils of your intestines, live cells that do more than digest. They listen to what you eat and whisper to your brain in return. The cells lining your gut are not just passive receivers, they are translators between worlds. They sense nutrients, respond to danger, and work side by side with microbes that live in you, but are not you. These microbes, trillions of them, form tiny societies of their own. And yet your cells accept their presence, learning from them, guiding them, and sometimes even depending on them. This is a dance of mutual care, a balance of life too small to see but too important to ignore. Together they build harmony from diversity, crafting an unseen friendship that sustains you. Imagine too the quiet drama of healing. When you are injured, cells do not argue. They do not panic. They arrive with grace and order. First come the platelets sealing the wound, then the immune cells clearing away danger, then the builders, fibroblasts, stem cells, weaving tissues back together like skilled weavers mending a torn sail. This healing isn't perfect, but it's beautiful in its devotion. Even in the face of harm, your cells try. Always they try. And sometimes even the scars left behind become reminders of their gentle effort. Your body is not just made of cells. It is constantly remade by them. They replace what is old. They renew what is tired. In your liver, most cells are less than 2 years old. In your bones, many cells are born and die within a decade. Even in your heart, long thought to hold cells that never change, scientists now know some are quietly renewed over time. You are not a statue carved once and left untouched. You are a garden, blooming, growing, and reshaping with the seasons of life. And yet not all cells are quiet. Some grow wild, forgetting the rules, ignoring the signals. These are cancer cells, born from the same origins as healthy ones, but turned inward and lost. Even in their chaos, there is something tragic. They are not villains, but wanderers. They are what happens when the music of the body is forgotten, when the harmony breaks. Still, even then, other cells try to help. Immune cells search for them. Therapies guide them back, and even in the face of illness, the body's tiny citizens do not give up. They continue in the background to do their work. Perhaps most miraculous of all are the stem cells, the cells that remain blank, like soft clay waiting to be shaped. These cells can become anything: heart, skin, neuron, bone. They are the promise of change, the essence of beginning. They sleep in your bone marrow, in your muscles, in your brain. And when needed, they awaken. They do not ask why, they simply become what the body needs. In a way, they are hope made real, potential written into biology. So what does it mean to know that you are made of these tiny lives? Perhaps it means that you are never truly alone. Even when still, even when quiet, your body is a living ocean of motion, of decisions made without thought, of care given without condition. Your cells do not know your dreams, but they carry them anyway. They do not know your name, but they protect it with every breath, every blink, every heartbeat. And maybe, in the soft hush of night, when the world goes quiet and only your breath remains, you can feel them. The gentle rise and fall of your lungs, the slow rhythm of your pulse, the warmth in your chest, all of it is the music of your cells. All of it is the whisper of your tiny worlds. You are more than skin and bone. You are memory and motion, pattern and poetry stitched together by hands so small you cannot see them. Let that be your comfort, that within you entire cities live, that they work for you without applause, that you are the keeper of life so old and deep it stretches beyond memory, and that no matter where you go or who you become, the cells will remain, renewing, listening, building the shape of your being day by day, heartbeat by heartbeat. This is the quiet truth of you. You are not one, you are many, and in the silence of your body there is always life. Beneath your skin, hidden in warmth and quiet, flows a river older than your memories. It does not sparkle like sunlight on water or roar like a mountain stream, but it moves just the same, steady, constant, alive. This river is made not of water, but of blood, and in every moment of your life it winds through you without pause. It carries oxygen to your brain, delivers sugar to your muscles, lifts waste from your cells. It is the unseen stream that keeps you whole, and though you never feel its movement, it never truly sleeps. Even in stillness it flows. This river begins deep in your chest, in a room no wider than your fist, your heart. With every beat, the heart squeezes, letting blood rushing through branching tunnels of arteries. These tunnels reach out like tree limbs, narrowing again and again until they become capillaries no thicker than a strand of hair. Here, in these smallest places, the blood gives what it carries, oxygen, food, signals, and takes away what is no longer needed. Then it begins its journey home, through veins that widen and rejoin, until all paths lead back to the heart once more. It is a loop with no beginning, no end, a circle of giving and return. Now imagine watching this river through a lens, so small it could see each cell within it. You would see red blood cells, soft, round discs, floating like tiny rafts. They carry oxygen collected from your lungs to every corner of your body. Each cell holds a molecule called hemoglobin, and at its center sits iron, waiting to bind with air. With each breath you take, this iron gathers oxygen and lets go of carbon dioxide, like a messenger picking up news and delivering it across a kingdom. These messengers live for about 120 days, and then quietly vanish, replaced by new ones born in your bones. You are renewed by their passing and you never even notice. Beside the red cells are the guardians, white blood cells, each one trained to protect. Some are quick responders, rushing to the scene when something feels wrong. Others remember every virus or bacteria your body has ever met and hold that memory close. Still others roam quietly, checking each cell they pass, asking, "Are you friend or stranger? Are you safe or a threat?" These white cells do not hate what they fight. They do not know fear. They simply serve with the calm focus of a tide that knows its path. Then there are the platelets, tiny fragments, almost like seeds, drifting until they are needed. When you are injured, even slightly, they gather at the wound like workers with stone and mortar. They clump together, forming the first barrier. They signal others to arrive, and they do not stop until the breach is sealed. These builders do not wait for instruction. They simply begin, and because of them, a paper cut becomes a scab. A scrape becomes skin again. A wound becomes a memory. The blood itself, the fluid that carries all these pieces, is more than just a liquid. It is plasma, a golden stream filled with nutrients, hormones, proteins, and waste. It is the tide that lifts all boats, the wind that carries all messages. It can cool your body when you are hot, rushing to your skin to release heat. It can warm you when you are cold, pulling back inward to protect your core. It delivers sugar after meals, water when you are thirsty, and signals when you are stressed. It listens to every change inside and out, and answers with flow. In your lungs, the river meets the air. Tiny sacs called alveoli exchange oxygen for carbon dioxide like traders at a market. The red blood cells receive their cargo and set off again. In your kidneys, the river filters itself. Cells remove waste and send it to be excreted. In your liver, nutrients are sorted and toxins are broken down. Each organ along the riverbank has a role, a task in this never-ending cycle, and your heart, steady and sure, keeps the current alive. Sometimes this river changes. It quickens when you run, slows when you sleep. It may become thick with fat after a heavy meal, or thin after you lose too much water. It may carry more white cells when you're sick, more platelets when you are wounded. These changes are not errors, they are adaptations. Your body watches the river and listens. It adjusts its flow, widens or narrows its paths, depending on what is needed most. You are not just a passenger in this river, you are its landscape. You shape its curves with every breath, every choice, every heartbeat. And though it moves silently, this river holds your life in motion. Every time you feel a pulse in your wrist, every time your cheeks flush, every time a scrape heals, that is your river, quietly doing its work. It does not ask for thanks, it simply flows. Let yourself drift now into the deeper channels of the river beneath your skin. While the first glance may show a simple flow of red and gold, what lies within is a symphony of systems, coordinated, adaptive, and endlessly wise. This river doesn't just carry cargo, it listens, it speaks, it remembers. When you eat a piece of fruit, sugar enters your bloodstream, and the river senses the shift. The pancreas, a soft organ nestled behind your stomach, releases insulin into the flow. Insulin doesn't move things directly. Instead, it speaks in silence, telling your cells to open their doors. The cells respond, letting sugar inside where it's turned into energy. This conversation happens every day, countless times without your awareness. It is calm, it is constant, it is care, written in molecules. When you are frightened, your blood knows before your thoughts do. The brain sends a signal to your adrenal glands perched above your kidneys. In an instant, adrenaline and cortisol are released into the bloodstream. These messengers race through your veins, telling your heart to beat faster, your lungs to breathe deeper, your muscles to tense. Blood is redirected away from digestion and toward action. It is a flood of preparation, not panic, your body getting ready to move, to protect, to survive. And when the danger passes, your river shifts again, washing away the chemicals of fear, returning you to stillness. But not all signals are sudden. Some take time. When you are wounded, your immune system doesn't just send white blood cells, it sends quiet whispers, long-lasting instructions. Cytokines float through the bloodstream, coordinating inflammation, guiding repair. Hormones like growth factors stimulate rebuilding. Platelets release signals of their own, calling cells to divide and migrate. And even as you rest, your body builds, a quiet construction site in the night. The blood delivers supplies, the cells receive them, and together they rebuild what was lost. Now imagine what happens when you learn. Your brain does not simply absorb information, it physically changes. Blood flow increases to active regions. Glucose and oxygen are delivered with greater speed. Synapses, the spaces between neurons, strengthen or weaken based on use. The river supports these changes, adjusting flow where it is needed most. When you practice, the river prepares. When you rest, it restores. Your ability to grow, to remember, to become is carried by blood. In every corner of your body, tiny decisions are being made, and the river beneath your skin is the thread that connects them. In your gut, blood delivers nutrients freshly pulled from your food. In your muscles, it clears away the lactic acid from effort. In your eyes, it brings the oxygen needed to see light. And in your skin, it carries warmth to the surface or pulls it inward to preserve heat. Every moment the river adjusts, slowing in sleep, rushing in alarm, always shifting in response to your needs. This adaptability is what keeps you alive, but it is also what allows you to feel. Emotions are not just thoughts, they are chemical stories written into your bloodstream. When you feel love, oxytocin flows. When you feel joy, dopamine and serotonin travel through you like gentle waves. When you grieve, your blood carries the weight of sadness in real signals, cortisol, lowered immune responses, shifts in heartbeat. Your emotions are not illusions. They are rivers within the river, soft movements of feeling that touch every cell. Sometimes the blood must carry difficult news. Infection, injury, disease, they leave marks on the river. And yet even in suffering, your body responds with quiet determination. Fever sends blood to the skin to release heat. Swelling increases flow to an area in need. Clotting slows the loss of life. These are not accidents. These are strategies. Your body listens to itself through blood, and every reaction is a reply. Even your breath is linked to the river. As you inhale, oxygen enters your lungs and passes into the bloodstream. As you exhale, carbon dioxide leaves the blood and escapes into the air. This exchange is delicate. If your breath is shallow or fast, the balance shifts. If your breath is deep and slow, the body relaxes. This is why your breathing changes with mood, because your river is listening. Every breath changes the flow, every sigh is a signal, and all of this happens with no sound, no announcement, just movement, just flow. Your blood does not shout its purpose, it moves gently, persistently, in rhythm with your life. And when the rhythm is disturbed, when blood clots form where they shouldn't, or vessels narrow too much, your body reacts. Pain may rise, pressure may build, but these too are messages, warnings, ways for the river to say, something needs attention. What's remarkable is that you never have to think about this. Your river flows, your heart beats, your vessels respond, all without your control. It is a gift your body gives you every day, and it has given it since the moment you were born. The first beat of your heart began the first ripple, and from that moment on you have been carried by it. So breathe gently now and feel your pulse. Know that this rhythm is not just sound or motion, it is the memory of life itself. It is the soft hum of your deepest story. Now let us follow this river toward its quiet end, not because it stops, but because the story turns inward. The blood that flows through you is not just a tool of the body, it is the voice of your inner world. Every corner it touches, every cell it feeds, becomes part of a whole, and that whole is you. When your cheeks flush in embarrassment, that is your blood responding to emotion. When your fingertips grow cold in fear, that is your blood retreating to protect your heart and brain. When your body warms after laughter, the blood is dancing through you, sharing the joy from cell to cell. This river is not separate from you, it is you, and it holds your past. The shape of your blood, the proteins on your red cells, the traits of your immune system are passed from your parents and from their parents before them. Even diseases you carry silently, even protections against illness, are whispers from long ago, passed through this river. Every heartbeat is a story written in ancient ink, flowing beneath your skin. You are not only a body, you are a history in motion. As you grow older, your blood changes, hormones shift, responses slow, the cells within may tire more easily or take longer to replace, but the river still flows, still watches, still answers your needs with patience. It adjusts as you change, carrying more oxygen when you climb stairs, moving more slowly when you sleep, and even in illness, it works without pause. Chemotherapy travels through the blood. Medicine is absorbed, carried, diluted. Healing comes through the river, or not at all. There is beauty in how it all connects. The tiniest capillary in your toe is fed by the same heart that fills the vessels in your brain. The blood that once flowed through your lungs now travels through your fingertips. There is no place in you untouched by this river. It is the most intimate connection between all parts of yourself. You are not a collection of pieces, you are one flowing whole. Even in moments of stillness, when you lie in bed, eyes closed, breathing slowly, the river does not stop. It carries thoughts, memories, nutrients, warmth, and it listens. If you sit in meditation, slowing your breath, your heart hears and responds. The river softens, blood pressure lowers, muscles relax. Peace becomes a physical reality, not just an idea. Your mind and body are linked, carried on the current of this inner stream, and when you dream, your blood still flows. When you cry, your blood brings the warmth that flushes your face. When you sing, it carries the oxygen to your lungs, the energy to your voice. And one day, when the final breath comes, the river will quiet, the current will still. But even then, what it carried are the life, the love, the memory that remains. For this river has built everything you are. It has lifted you through childhood, sustained you through illness, whispered in your moments of calm and surged in your moments of passion. It has delivered the tiniest molecule and supported the grandest emotion. And though it never asks for recognition, it deserves our awe. So now rest in the knowledge that your body is never truly alone. Beneath your skin, always and without pause, the river flows. Through joy, through pain, through every breath you take, it is there, carrying you, holding you, becoming you. And as you drift into sleep or into silence, remember this. Your heartbeat is not just a sound, it is a story, a rhythm, a river that began before you were born and will continue as long as you are here. Let that comfort you. Let it remind you that even in stillness you are moving, even in quiet, you are alive. There is a kind of light that lives in the most hidden parts of you, not the kind that shines through windows or flickers in lamps, but a quiet, invisible brightness that begins deep inside your bones. These bones, strong and silent beneath your skin, are not cold or lifeless. They are alive, humming with activity, growing and breaking, repairing and reshaping, always working behind the scenes. If you could look within them, if you could drift through their dense corridors like a whisper moving through stone, you would find not stillness, but motion. You would find a secret garden of cells and marrow, of blood and memory, of chemical songs and ancient rhythms. Your bones are more than scaffolding. They are living structures, formed from a delicate weave of calcium, phosphorus, and protein, crafted over years by cells with silent names: osteoblasts, osteoclasts, osteocytes. These cells do not simply hold you upright, they sculpt you. They read the tension in your muscles and reshape the bone to match. They feel the pressure in your joints and respond. When you walk, when you lift, when you stretch, your bones listen. And in response, they change slowly and with great care, as though they were learning who you are. Inside the hollow spaces of your bones lives marrow, soft and rich, the birthplace of your blood. Here in the darkness, stem cells divide and grow, creating red cells to carry oxygen, white cells to guard your health, and platelets to help you heal. Every second, millions of cells rise from this hidden sea and enter your bloodstream. You never feel it, you never know, but this quiet work sustains you. It renews what is lost. It builds you again and again, so gently that you forget you are being rebuilt. Now imagine the bones of a child, flexible, growing, filled with wide open spaces. In childhood, bones are shaped quickly, molded by play, by movement, by rest. Calcium flows through them like a river, drawn from food, from sunlight turned to vitamin D by the skin. That vitamin tells the bones, grow stronger, stretch taller. And so they do. Over time, those soft growing edges harden. Growth slows. But even in adulthood, bones continue to listen. If you run, they strengthen. If you rest too long, they weaken. They do not judge. They simply respond. Even the skull, the protector of thought, is alive with this quiet work. It grows to match your brain, expands as you learn, thickens with age. It guards your most delicate tissue, but it too has blood vessels, cells, nerves. The spine, curved and coiled with balance, is not a column of stone, but a moving, adjusting chain, each vertebra shaped for motion and support. Your ribs rise and fall with every breath, not stiff but spring-like, and inside them the sternum anchors you, joining the flow. Every bone in your body is part of a network, each one aware of its place, its pressure, its role. And yet bones are not only shaped by motion, they are also shaped by time. As we age, the cells within them change. Osteoblasts grow quiet, osteoclasts grow bold. Bones thin, becoming lighter, more fragile. But this too is a rhythm, not a failure, not a flaw, just change. Just life unfolding in its silent cycle. And even then, light still lives in them. For inside the bones remains marrow, remains memory, remains the power to build and to nourish. Perhaps most wondrous of all is that bones can heal. Break them and the body responds, first with pain, with swelling and messages of urgency, then with callous tissue like a bridge forming, then slowly with new bone. The cells do not panic, they do not question, they simply rebuild. Over weeks, over months, the structure reforms. It may never be the same, but it is whole again. The light returns, and all the while your bones are not silent. They speak, not in words, but in signals. They release hormones that help regulate blood sugar, that affect fertility, that influence the brain. They respond to changes in the body's chemistry and adapt. Scientists are still learning the full language of bone, but already it is clear they are not just structure. They are part of your inner dialogue, the conversation of the body, the harmony of health. So next time you stretch your arms or feel the ground through your feet or curl into a warm bed, remember the quiet strength beneath. Remember the living stone shaped by light and pressure, by motion and memory. Your bones are not cold, they are radiant with purpose. They carry your history, they hold your breath, they shine invisibly with life. Let us drift even deeper now into the soft glow that lives inside your bones, that quiet light born not from flame or sun, but from life itself, unfolding silently in the marrowed hollows of your skeleton. These bones, strong and patient, are more than the frame upon which your body stands. They are listeners and messengers, keepers of calcium, guardians of balance, and hidden storytellers of your past. Deep within them, something sacred stirs. Marrow is not just a substance, it is the birthplace of your blood, a dark, nourishing chamber where red and white cells are made in silent precision, like stars quietly forming in the night skies. Every moment, stem cells in your marrow are dividing, choosing paths, some to become oxygen carriers, and some to become defenders of your health, some to become the patches of wounds. These stem cells are ancient, as old as your first breath, and yet always new, always becoming. They listen to your body's needs. When infection rises, they shift, creating more white blood cells. When you bleed, they call for platelets. They do not ask why, they simply give. And through them, the river of your blood continues, always beginning again inside your bones. The bones themselves are not passive, they respond to your life. If you lift, they grow thicker. If you run, they become stronger where the impact falls. If you sit too long, they grow soft, unused. They are shaped by your story, written in calcium and stress, in rest and recovery. Osteocytes, the long-living cells buried deep within the bone matrix, serve as silent watchers. They feel the forces placed upon your skeleton and signal the need for change. They speak through tiny channels called canaliculi, passing messages in fluid-filled tunnels, guiding the dance between building and breaking, between strength and renewal. Even light, real light, plays a role. When sunlight touches your skin, it begins a quiet chain of events. Your body creates vitamin D, a molecule that allows your intestines to absorb calcium from food. That calcium is then carried in the blood and brought to the bones, where it is stored, used, or reshaped. Without this light, bones weaken. They lose their density, their silent power. And so the sunlight on your face is more than warmth. It is a message to your skeleton, a reminder to grow, to stay whole, to remember the rhythm of life. Yet not all of this is visible. Inside the skull, the bone does more than protect. It cradles the brain in a delicate balance of strength and softness. Tiny bones in the inner ear, the malleus, incus, and stapes carry sound. They are the smallest bones in the body, no larger than grains of rice, and yet they give you hearing, allowing vibrations in the air to become music, voice, memory. These bones do not grow after childhood. They remain unchanged, carrying echoes through the years. The spine is another miracle, not just a column, but a chain of movable bones, each one cushioning and protecting the delicate cord within. The vertebrae flex as you twist, bend, reach. Between them, discs absorb shock, and the spine as a whole carries your upright posture. Without thought, you walk and turn, dance and climb, and the bones respond, balancing, aligning, supporting. They are not rigid but responsive, adapting with every motion, every stillness. Bones also serve as the body's reservoir. When calcium is needed elsewhere, for muscles to contract, for nerves to fire, the bones release it. When there is excess, they store it again. This is no careless exchange. It is tightly regulated by hormones like parathyroid hormone and calcitonin, whispering signals that ensure balance is never lost. The bones do not hoard, they share, and in doing so they keep the peace within. Even emotions reach the bones. Stress hormones like cortisol can affect bone strength over time. Chronic tension, lack of sleep, poor nourishment, they leave marks not only on your mood but on your skeleton. Yet healing is always possible. Weight-bearing movement, deep rest, sunlight, and proper nourishment, they all return strength to the bones. The body never stops trying to restore what has been worn down, and the bones, ever patient, respond with growth. When you feel tired in your core, it may be your bones asking for rest. When you stretch and feel relief, it is your skeleton allowing space. When you lie still and feel grounded, it is your bones cradling you in their quiet hold. They are always with you, always beneath you, always working. And within all of this, there is the light. Not of fire or electricity, but of purpose, of life, of endless creation. Your bones hold more than strength, they hold possibility. They hold the beginning of every red cell that feeds your heart, every white cell that guards your breath, every platelet that seals your wounds. They hold you from the inside out, and they never let go. Let us now follow the soft trail to where the light inside your bones settles into its stillest form. The quiet knowing that these inner structures are not just tools of movement or frames for flesh, but the very keepers of your being. They hold not only strength but memory. Long after bruises fade and voices quiet, your bones remember. They remember how you grew, how you stood for the first time, how you fell and rose again. In their curves and thickness, in their tiny marks and healed fractures, they carry the script of your life written in a silent alphabet only the body can read. You may forget the falls of childhood, the sprains of youth, but your bones do not. They carry every step with grace. Even in the stillness of old age, bones speak gently. They become thinner, yes, more delicate, but never empty. Their light does not leave. It softens. It hums like embers in a hearth. Older bones do not hold less value. They hold more history, more patience, more time. They still respond to care, to gentle movement, to quiet sunlight, to foods that nourish. They still build slowly. They still listen. A body may tire, but its bones remain steady, the last part of you to fall silent. And when bones return to the earth, long after breath has stopped and stories have been told, they stay. Of all the parts of you, bones last the longest. They linger in the soil, holding shape, holding presence, a reminder that you were here, that you lived, that you stood under sun and sky and felt joy and carried others and were carried in turn. They become part of the earth's deep memory, just as they once held yours. In many cultures, bones are seen not as endings, but as beginnings. They are honoured, buried with care, touched with reverence. There is something sacred in their silence, something holy in their endurance. They are not morbid, they are not grim, they are what remains when all else has passed, the truth at the centre of the body. And in their hollow spaces and solid rings, they tell the oldest story of all, that life is brief but beautiful, and that what holds it can be quiet and strong at once. Science too listens to bones. Through them we learn of the past, of ancient people, long-gone animals, lost worlds. Fossils of bones turned to stone but still full of whispers. They tell of how a creature moved, what it ate, how it lived. From bones we can hear stories millions of years old. We can know the shape of what once breathed. Even now, when a bone is found buried in earth, people pause. They do not step lightly. They do not touch without care, for bones are not just remains. They are reminders. And what of the bones that protect the heart? The ribs do more than shield. They move with breath. They cradle your lungs as they expand and contract again and again. Each inhale is a lifting, each exhale a settling. This rhythm is not loud, but it is everything. When you sleep, when you laugh, when you cry, the ribs hold space and they do not grow weary. They continue like waves on a quiet shore. Your hands too are shaped by bone, delicate phalanges that allow you to write, to hold, to reach. Each joint a hinge of possibility. Your feet with their arches and heels carry your weight, absorb your stride, connect you to the earth. And your spine, your quiet pillar, allows you to bend, twist and stand tall. Without these bones, there would be no dance, no embrace, no stillness worth sinking into. So now as you lie still, let yourself feel the weight of your skeleton, not as burden, but as presence. Let it ground you. Let it support you. Let it remind you that you are not floating. You're held, not just by gravity, but by structure, by a system that has known your name since before you could speak it. Your bones do not need attention. They need kindness, movement, rest, light, and in return, they will carry you through every step, every stanza, every song. The light that lives in your bones is not something you will see in mirrors or photographs. It is quieter than that. It is the light of motion and healing, of memory and strength, of being here fully. It is the glow of marrow, making blood, of joints bending with ease, of vertebrae aligning in sleep. It is the glow that says, you're alive, and you're whole, and in that quiet glow there is peace, there is enough. Inside your body, hidden behind your navel and coiled in silence, lives a forest unlike any you have ever seen. It does not grow tall or reach for the sky. It grows inward, folded within folds, curled in darkness and warmth. This forest lives in your gut, your intestines, and though no leaves rustle and no roots stretch through soil, it is alive with movement, with memory, with an ancient purpose. If you could shrink small enough to wander through this inner forest, you would find trillions of tiny beings living there, not as intruders, but as neighbours. These are your microbes, Bacteria, fungi, viruses, all working in quiet harmony. They do not speak in words, but they shape your health with every breath you take, every bite you eat, every moment you live. Your gut is not just a tube for food, it is a living ecosystem. The walls of your intestines are lined with cells that absorb nutrients, defend against harm, and carry messages to the brain. But those walls are also home to more life than you can imagine. Inside your gut lives the microbiome, a community of microscopic organisms that outnumber your own human cells. They live on what you eat. They feast on fiber and starch and sugar, breaking down what your body cannot digest alone. And in return, they make things your body needs: vitamins, short-chain fatty acids, signals for your immune system. This is not invasion. This is partnership. This is life living with life. Imagine walking through this forest. Each curve of your intestines is like a winding path, and every surface is covered in tiny hairs called villi and microvilli. These structures increase the surface area of your gut, creating a vast and intricate terrain. Here, bacteria nestle and thrive, forming communities that shift and grow with you. When you change your diet, they change with you. When you fall ill, some fade while others rise. They are sensitive to stress, to sleep, to joy. They remember what you eat. They notice when you are anxious. And they respond, not with thought, but with chemistry, sending signals through your nervous system, influencing mood, digestion, even your sense of safety. Your gut has been called a second brain, and for good reason. It contains a network of neurons, over 100 million, that operate independently but also speak to your central brain. This is the enteric nervous system, and it is wired directly to your emotions. That flutter of anxiety in your stomach, that heavy feeling when you're sad, that warmth after a comforting meal. These are signals from the gut translated into feeling. Serotonin, a molecule tied to happiness, is mostly made in the gut. So is GABA, which helps calm the brain. These chemicals are not just manufactured, they are nurtured, fed by the forest within. The food you eat becomes more than energy. It becomes the language of your gut. Fiber-rich foods like fruits and vegetables feed good bacteria. Fermented foods like yogurt and kimchi introduce friendly microbes. Sugars and processed foods, when too frequent, can shift the balance, allowing harmful strains to grow. Your gut listens closely to every bite, and it remembers. Patterns build. Microbes shift, some thrive, some fade, and the health of your forest, or its diversity, its plenity, shapes everything from your immunity to your mood to how deeply you sleep. But your gut is not fragile. It is resilient. When balance is lost, it tries to heal. Cells lining the gut regenerate every few days. Mucus is produced to protect. Immune cells stand ready to respond. Probiotics can help reintroduce balance. Prebiotics can feed the right strains. Rest, sleep, movement, all of these shape your gut just as much as food. It is not only what you consume, but how you live, that shapes this inner world. In early life, this forest begins with birth. From the moment you enter the world, you are colonized by microbes. Breastfeeding adds more. Touch, food, air all contribute to the formation of this invisible ecosystem. By age 3, the gut is largely formed, though it continues to evolve with every season of life. Illness, antibiotics, travel, trauma all leave footprints in the microbiome. But even then, healing is possible. Diversity can return, balance can be rebuilt, the forest grows back quietly and with time. And so this place, hidden deep within, becomes not just a site of digestion, but a foundation of self. It is a forest where the body and the outside world meet, where what you eat becomes what you are, and what you feel is echoed by tiny creatures that know no words, but respond to your every breath. They do not need thanks, they only need care. And in return they support you, invisibly, faithfully, always. Let us now wander deeper into this forest of your gut, not with our feet, but with our quiet attention. It is not a place of loud sounds or sharp colours, it is a place of whispers, chemical, electrical, biological, each one carrying a message from one tiny being to another, from one part of your body to another. The bacteria in your gut, as small as they are, live with a sense of balance. They form alliances, they compete, they protect. And when their balance is disturbed, the whole ecosystem shifts. This is not chaos, it is nature. Just as forests above ground adapt to storms and sunlight, your inner forest adjusts to the rhythms of your life. When you eat, the gut awakens. Food begins its journey with smell, then chewing, then the long descent. As it passes through your stomach, acid and enzymes begin to break it down. But only in the small intestine does the conversation begin in full. The bacteria here, some from birth, some from food, some from chance, begin to interact with what you've eaten. They ferment fibre, they break complex sugars into simpler ones. They produce gases, some of which may leave the body, some of which travel to your brain and influence your feelings without you knowing. They produce short-chain fatty acids, which feed the cells lining your gut. These acids lower inflammation, support immunity, and even help control appetite. They are the fruit of a relationship that is both ancient and newly alive in every moment. The gut is also a gatekeeper. Its lining is thin, only a single cell thick, but it is selective. It decides what enters your bloodstream and what stays out. Proteins are broken down into amino acids, fats into fatty acids, carbs into glucose, all taken in carefully, piece by piece. But when this lining is inflamed, stressed or harmed, it can become leaky. And when that happens, fragments that don't belong enter the bloodstream. This is where trouble can begin: immune reactions, allergies, even chronic conditions. But again, the gut is not helpless. It tries to repair, it sends cells to fix the gaps, it rebuilds the barrier. It works to restore trust with the body. Your immune system too has its roots in the gut. Nearly 70% of immune cells live along the gut wall. They sample the contents, they patrol the borders, they are trained here, learning what is friend and what is foe. If the microbiome is diverse and balanced, the immune system learns tolerance and calm. If it is imbalanced, overexposed or inflamed, it may become reactive, even attacking the body itself. This is where autoimmune conditions can begin, not from one mistake, but from a long history of confusion. Still, the gut continues to teach. It can relearn balance with time, with the right nourishment, with care. The gut also helps regulate hormones: cortisol, the stress hormone; ghrelin, the hunger signal; leptin, which tells you when you are full. All of these rise and fall in part because of microbial signals. When your gut is calm, you feel calm. When it is distressed, you may feel anxious without knowing why. This is not imagination, it is biology. The vagus nerve, a great wandering nerve, connects your gut to your brain like a forest path between two villages. Messages travel both ways. When your thoughts are peaceful, your gut relaxes. When your gut is inflamed, your thoughts may darken. The connection is deep and it is real. And then there is memory. The gut remembers, not the way your brain does, not in words or pictures, but in patterns. It remembers what you eat most. It adapts to your habits. If you eat mostly sugar, microbes that love sugar grow stronger. If you eat mostly fiber, different colonies thrive. Your cravings over time begin to reflect your microbial balance. This is why change can feel difficult. You're not only choosing, you're shifting ecosystems, but the gut is forgiving. With consistency, with care, with patience, it reshapes itself. It is not stubborn, it is adaptive. Antibiotics, while often life-saving, do not discriminate. They kill harmful bacteria, but they also sweep away the good. After antibiotics, the forest becomes a field bare and waiting. Rebuilding takes time. Probiotics can help. Prebiotics can help more. But most of all, time and steady nourishment allow the roots to grow again. Within weeks or months, the forest begins to return. New balance can emerge. This is the miracle of life inside you, the capacity to restore again and again. Every choice you make, sleep, movement, stress, laughter, affects your gut. It is not a distant machine, it is you. The microbes are not invaders. They are citizens, and like any community, they need stability, nourishment, rhythm. They do not ask for perfection. They ask only for balance. So listen closely to your body. That quiet gurgle, that gentle hunger, that sigh after eating, all are signs of life within life. The forest is not just functioning, it is thriving. And with each passing day, it grows with you. Now let us walk slowly through the final paths of this hidden forest, where the smallest lives shape the deepest parts of who you are. Your gut, though buried in silence, is one of the most powerful places within you. And though it does not speak in words, it guides your mood, your memory, your energy, and even your sense of peace. It is more than digestion. It is a meeting ground between body and world, between past and future, between nourishment and emotion. Inside this quiet maze of loops and folds lives a wisdom that began long before you were born and continues, breath by breath, meal by meal. This forest is always awake. Even when you sleep, microbes continue to work. They repair, they digest, they communicate. During the night, certain bacteria become more active, cleaning waste, balancing acidity, maintaining order. Your liver joins in, detoxifying the blood. Your cells regenerate. Your gut does not rest because it is your foundation. It holds you upright even while you dream. And when you wake, the forest awakens with you, ready to begin again. It is this continuous care that allows your body to heal, to restore, to prepare for each new day. And as you grow, the forest grows with you. It learns from what you eat. It adapts to your choices. Even emotional patterns leave a mark. Chronic stress changes gut motility. Trauma can disrupt the lining. But healing is possible. The body remembers balance. The gut, even when harmed, never stops trying to find peace again. With gentle foods, with sleep, with deep breaths and laughter, the healing begins. This is the language of repair, not urgent or loud, but soft, continuous, forgiving. Your gut teaches patience. Changes take time. Days become weeks, weeks become months, and slowly, balance returns. The gut does not demand quick answers. It waits for rhythm, for stability, for trust. You may not feel the shifts immediately, but inside, colonies rise, inflammation fades, signals quiet down. The body relearns how to be calm. This is not a miracle. It is biology. And yet it feels like grace. In times of illness, the gut shows its strength. Diarrhea, constipation, bloating, these are not failures, they are signals. They are the body saying something needs attention. And when we listen, the body responds. Food is not just fuel, it is medicine. Rest is not weakness, it is strategy. Movement is not always about strength, it is about flow, helping the lymph move, helping the muscles massage the gut, helping the whole system breathe again. You do not need to understand every species of bacteria to care for this forest. You only need to live in a way that welcomes life. Fresh, whole foods, gentle movement, laughter that shakes your core, rest that goes deep, connection with others, time outdoors. These are the gifts the forest needs, and in return it gives you stability. It gives you clarity, it gives you energy that is steady, thoughts that are calm, skin that glows, and a sense of being well, not in the surface, but in the root. Even when the world outside is chaotic, your gut can be a place of peace. A quiet ally, invisible but steady. When you sit down to eat, pause, breathe, let your body know it is safe. When you feel anxious, place a hand on your belly. Feel it rise and fall. This is not just breath, this is connection. You are not separate from this forest, you are part of it. And it is part of you. In the end, this inner world does not ask for perfection. It only asks for attention, for rhythm, for kindness. The forest of your gut will not always be in perfect balance, and that is okay. Like all living systems, it will sway with the seasons of your life. There will be moments of storm and moments of stillness, but it will keep growing, it will keep adapting, and with your care it will keep carrying you. So remember this, deep inside you, beneath every thought and above every emotion, a living world blooms. It listens to the way you live, and it answers, not in words, but in balance, in resilience, in strength. You are not alone, you are host to life. You are home to a forest that gives and gives, expecting only quiet care in return. Let that be your comfort. Let that be your light. In the softest place within you, life is always reaching toward harmony. Beneath your skin, running through every inch of your body like secret threads in a hidden tapestry, are your nerves. Long, delicate strands that carry the whispers of thought, sensation, and motion. They do not move or breathe like muscles. They do not beat like the heart or digest like the gut, and yet they are always active, always listening. These nerves are not just wires, they are the messengers of your inner world, relaying signals from brain to body and back again in endless loops. They carry warmth, pain, texture, emotion. They allow you to move without thinking, to feel without looking, to remember without words, and they do all this in silence. The nervous system is made up of two main parts, the central nervous system, the brain and spinal cord, and the peripheral nervous system, which branches outward to reach every cell and limb. Your brain, soft and folded, rests in your skull like a sea inside a shell. From it extends the spinal cord running through the backbone and branching outward into nerves like the roots of a great tree. These nerves stretch out, reaching fingers and toes, lungs and gut, skin and bones. They are pathways for information, so electrical, chemical, alive. At the heart of every nerve is a neuron. Neurons are not ordinary cells. They are shaped like stars with long tails. A signal begins at one end and races down the tail, the axon, to reach the next cell. This journey is fast, measured in milliseconds, and yet in that time entire actions are set into motion. Your finger lifts, your eyes blink, you smile before you realize you're smiling. These signals are not random, they are precise, and they are personal and shaped by memory, by learning, by love. Now picture the moment you touch something hot. Your skin does not simply feel it, it reacts. Nerve endings in the skin sense the heat and send a signal to the spinal cord. The signal is passed along neurons like a note down a line of dancers, reaching your brain, which interprets it as pain. At the same time, a reflex arc bypasses the brain entirely, pulling your hand away even before you become aware. This is protection. This is speed. This is your body speaking to itself in its most ancient tongue. Not all nerve signals are about danger. Some are about comfort, the warmth of a blanket, the softness of a loved one's touch, the sound of music felt in your chest. All of these sensations travel through nerves, translated into feelings and stored as memory. When you eat, nerves tell your brain you're full. When you run, they regulate your heartbeat. When you fall asleep, they slow your breathing. The nervous system is not just a machine, it is a musician, adjusting tempo, shifting tone, responding to every note. At the center of it all is the brain, an organ of electricity and chemistry, of thought and silence. It processes billions of signals every second, filtering what to notice and what to ignore. You're only aware of a small portion of what your nerves feel. Most of it is handled without you ever knowing. The balance in your feet, the rhythm in your lungs, the tiny corrections your eyes make to stay focused. The brain handles it all with gentle authority, a conductor never seen but always present. The spinal cord is the superhighway of this system, carrying messages to and from the brain. Protected by vertebrae, cushioned by fluid, it is the most guarded part of your body. Injury to it is serious because the spinal cord is not easily repaired, and yet even here, the body tries. New pathways can form, other neurons may learn to help. There is a resilience even in vulnerability. Surrounding these nerves are glial cells, the quiet caretakers. They do not carry signals themselves, but they protect, nourish, and repair. They remove waste, they guide development, they form insulation, myelin, around the axons, allowing signals to travel faster, cleaner. Without them, the nervous system falters. With them, it thrives. These silent helpers remind us that not all vital roles are loud or seen. And then there is the autonomic nervous system, the part that runs without your control. It controls your heartbeat, your digestion, your pupils. It has two sides, the sympathetic, which prepares you to act, and the parasympathetic, which invites rest. Together, they keep balance. When you feel stress, the sympathetic system sends energy to your muscles, sharpens your awareness, increases your breath. When you are safe, the parasympathetic slows everything down, allows digestion, healing, peace. Your body moves between these states every day, guided by the invisible hands of the nervous system. You may never see your nerves. You may never hear their signals, but they are always with you. They are the threads that connect your thoughts to your body, your past to your present, your inner world to the world outside, and in that connection, you become whole. Now let's slip even further into this web of whispering signals, where every movement, every breath, every flicker of thought is carried by currents we cannot see. The nervous system is not just a tool for action, it is also the seat of sensation, the guide of intuition, the map maker of memory. Within your nerves, feelings are not just registered, they are created. Every shiver from cold, every moment of wonder, every lingering ache from sorrow is woven through this system. It does not wait for you to command it. It acts on its own, predicting, remembering, adjusting. It makes the world understandable moment by moment, without pause. Inside your brain, neurons don't just fire randomly. They form pathways. They strengthen with use, fade with neglect. The more you practice a skill, the smoother those signals become. A pianist's fingers fly not just from muscle memory, but from neural efficiency, a learned path carved by repetition. A child learning to walk is wiring balance, timing and control all at once. A person recovering from injury is not just healing tissue, they are rebuilding signals, teaching nerves to speak again. This adaptability is called neuroplasticity, and it is one of the great wonders of the body. The brain and nerves, even damaged or quieted, can change, grow, recover. This plasticity means your thoughts, too, can become habits. Worry can become a well-travelled path, so can hope. Each repetition of fear, of calm, of gratitude strengthens the signals involved. You're not trapped in one pattern. You're sculpted by repetition, by attention, by care. Your nervous system listens to how you think and responds by reinforcing those patterns. The more often you return to calm, the easier it becomes. The more often you choose peace, the more likely your body is to return there, even in stress. Some nerves carry sensory information: temperature, pain, pressure, taste. Others carry motor commands: lift this arm, blink that eye, step forward. Still others are mixed, travelling two ways at once. The longest nerve in your body, the sciatic nerve, stretches from your lower back down to your toes. When irritated, it can cause pain not only where it is touched, but anywhere along its length, a reminder that nerves are not isolated. They are long threads, where one tug can echo far. The vagus nerve, too, is a quiet hero. It connects the brain to many organs, heart, lungs, gut, and plays a major role in parasympathetic function. When activated, it slows the heart, calms the breath, allows digestion. Deep breathing stimulates it. Laughter helps, singing, even humming. These gentle practices are not just spiritual or emotional, they are biological. They send signals up the vagus nerve, telling your brain, we are safe, we can rest now. The body listens, the heart slows, healing begins. In your fingertips are some of the most sensitive nerve endings in your body. With your fingers, you can read the texture of paper, feel a breeze, recognize the curve of a loved one's face in darkness. These tiny nerves are wrapped around hairs embedded in skin, always alert. In your feet, nerves sense balance, pressure, temperature. They work with the inner ear, which contains fluid-filled canals that respond to movement. When you turn your head, the fluid shifts. Hair-like cells send messages to the brain, which adjusts your muscles so you stay upright. All of this happens without this thought, in a moment, perfectly timed. When nerves are damaged, the effects can ripple through the entire body. Pain, numbness, tingling, loss of function, these are signs that the signals are disrupted. In some cases, nerves can regrow, slowly and carefully. In others, pain may persist even without injury, a sign that the nervous system is caught in a loop, still sending the message even when the danger is gone. This is called neuropathic pain, and it reminds us how deeply the nervous system is tied to perception. The brain cannot always tell what is real and what is remembered, and yet it still tries to protect you. Chronic stress can alter the nervous system. When stress is constant, the sympathetic system stays activated, heart rate high, digestion slowed, sleep disturbed. Over time, this can wear down the body, lead to anxiety, fatigue, illness. But the opposite is also true. Regular rest, quiet moments, gentle breathing, they activate the parasympathetic system. They repair, they restore. You don't need to escape your life to find peace. You only need moments. Moments where the body can remember safety. Even dreams are shaped by the nervous system. While you sleep, the brain cycles through patterns: light sleep, deep sleep, REM, each with different waveforms and levels of activity. Dreams are signals firing in the dark, organizing memory, exploring thought, releasing tension. They are not just fantasies, they are maintenance. The brain clearing space, reshaping pathways, preparing for the next day. So much of what we call you, your reflexes, your emotions, your instincts, is guided by this silent system. It is always working even when you are unaware. And though it is delicate, it is not weak. It is layered with backup systems, redundancy, and grace. When one pathway is lost, others can grow. When balance is shaken, it can return. The nervous system is not fixed. It is living, learning, always adjusting to the shape of your life. Now, let us find stillness within this system of signals. A moment of quiet where the language of nerves becomes more than function, more than movement, more than reaction. The nervous system is your inner witness. It notices before you do. It adjusts before you think. And in every waking moment, in every sleep-filled night, it is there, shaping how you feel, how you connect, how you exist in the world. It carries the invisible choreography of life, linking breath to thought, skin to soul, action to awareness. Your emotions ride along these neural pathways. Joy is not just an idea, it is a chemical signal carried from limbic regions of the brain, travelling through circuits that light up your eyes and soften your shoulders. Sadness is not a weakness. It is a shift in signal strength, in neurotransmitters, in tone. The body hears it. Muscles become heavy, speech slows, thought curls inward. And when you comfort someone, your voice, your touch, even your presence becomes a signal too. It tells their nervous system you are not alone. You're safe now, and safety allows healing to begin. Every breath you take is wired into the nervous system. You can control it if you choose, inhaling slowly, exhaling longer, calming your own heartbeat. But even when you do not think about it, the nerves keep breathing for you, the brainstem holds this rhythm. It listens to carbon dioxide levels. It adjusts breath as you speak, as you sleep, as you cry. In this way, your breath is not just air. It is a message. And when you pay attention to it, you are listening to your own nervous system with intention and care. Memory too lives here. The moment you recall a smell from childhood or the warmth of a voice now gone, you are lighting up neurons that haven't fired together in years. The hippocampus, a small structure curled deep in the brain, brings past to present through electric spark and quiet rhythm. Some memories are sharp, others are gentle blurs, but each is a pattern, a thread, stored not in pages or folders but in signals and spaces, ready to awaken when needed. This is how the nervous system becomes your personal story. It is through this system that the body meets the world. The pressure of a loved one's hand, the sound of thunder rolling across the sky, the sudden jolt of fear, and the soft quiet after it passes. All of it comes through nerves, and all of it is interpreted, remembered, shaped into meaning. You are not just receiving the world, you are constantly translating it, from vibration to sensation, from sensation to feeling, from feeling to thought. And the beauty of it is that this translation is happening all the time, without your permission, without your effort. The body wants to understand, the nerves want to connect. Even when things go wrong, the nervous system seeks harmony. After injury, it rewires. After trauma, it holds on, sometimes too tightly, replaying signals long after danger has passed. But even then, it is only trying to protect. It is not broken. It is trying to learn. Therapies that involve movement, breath, story, sound, they help re-educate the nerves. They create new paths, and slowly, gently, safety becomes possible again. This is healing. Not forgetting, but retraining, not erasing pain, but giving the body a new signal to follow. Your skin is a map of nerves. Some parts are densely packed. Your lips, fingertips, the soles of your feet, able to feel the softest breeze or sharpest edge. Other areas are more spacious, but still alive. When someone brushes your arm, the nerves feel not just pressure, but meaning. This is how we recognize intention, comfort, threat. This is why touch matters. It is not just contact, it is communication. And deep inside, even your organs are wired with signals. The gut tells the brain when to eat. The heart responds to emotion. The bladder speaks when full. You do not need to think about these messages. They arrive on their own, shaped by your state of mind, your posture, your mood. This is the body's quiet language, one you have known since before birth. Long before you spoke, long before you understood words, your nervous system was listening. In your final stillness each night, that slow drift into sleep, the nervous system begins to shift. Brainwaves slow, muscles relax, signals turn inward, the world fades, and in that sleep your nerves still work. They prune old pathways, they strengthen memories, they clear space for the next day's feelings, movements, choices. This too is part of the rhythm. And when morning comes, your eyelids flutter open. Light is seen, breath deepens, the nervous system stretches back into alertness. It does not ask for praise, it simply returns. It reconnects. And so once more you are whole. You may never see your nerves, but you feel their truth every moment, in joy, in fear, in silence. They are your quiet companions, your inner voice, your first responder, and your last storyteller. In their whispers you live, inside you, hidden in the quiet rhythm of your breath and the subtle flow of your thoughts. There is a clock. It does not tick loudly like a watch, nor chime like a bell tower. It moves silently in shadows and light, in hunger and rest, in warmth and sleep. This clock is not held in your hands or worn on your wrist. It is written into every cell of your body. A biological rhythm, ancient and precise, guiding your days and nights with a language so soft you may never notice it. And yet, without it, time would feel broken. You would feel unanchored. Your body would forget when to wake, when to sleep, when to heal, when to simply be. This inner clock is known as the circadian rhythm, a cycle of approximately 24 hours that governs your body's internal functions. It is not a single mechanism, but a collection of clocks, each in its own place in the brain, the liver, the lungs, the skin, all dancing to the beat of a master conductor deep within your brain, in a cluster of neurons called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This tiny bundle, no bigger than a grain of rice, receives signals from the eyes. It knows when light is near and when night has returned. And from this signal, it tells the rest of your body what time it is, even when you are not looking at a clock. When morning comes and sunlight touches your eyes, this signal travels to the brain and sends a message. Wakefulness begins. The body warms slightly. Cortisol rises. Digestion prepares for food. Alertness grows. Muscles become more responsive. You may feel this shift as a natural stretch, a deep breath, a pull toward movement. It is not just habit. It is cellular timekeeping. Your body has read the light and remembered. It is time to start again. As the day unfolds, other clocks take over. Around midday, your energy often peaks. Reaction times quicken. Blood pressure rises to its daily high. This is when your body feels strongest, sharpest. But as the afternoon moves forward, the rhythm changes again. Your core temperature drops slightly. Melatonin, the sleep hormone, begins to rise. Your thoughts may slow. The pull toward rest begins gently, and by nightfall the body is turned inward, preparing for sleep, repair, renewal. Your digestion slows, muscles relax, heart rate drops. The body knows the pattern. It listens without needing words. Even your organs have their own clocks. The liver is most active in detoxification during the early morning hours. The digestive system prefers food during daylight. Muscles respond best to movement in the late afternoon. Skin cells repair damage while you sleep. These rhythms are not based on choice, but on deep evolutionary time, on life lived close to the sun and shaped by the turning of the earth. Before calendars, before alarms, there was light and dark, wake and rest, and your body still remembers. Now imagine if this rhythm is disrupted. If you sleep late into the day or stay awake long into the night. If you eat at odd hours or surround yourself with light even after sunset. The body becomes confused. The signals begin to blur. You may feel tired during the day, wired at night, hungry when you shouldn't be, restless when you wish to sleep. This is called circadian misalignment, and it touches every system: metabolism, mood, immunity, memory. The clock still tries to tick, but its hands spin in the wrong direction. And yet even here the body holds grace. It wants to return. Given time, light, rest, and rhythm, the clock resets. Slowly, patiently, it finds its way back. This clock also tells your cells when to divide, when to rest, when to activate certain genes. It governs the rise and fall of body temperature, the ebb and flow of hormones, the cycles of hunger and thirst. Each of your trillions of cells contains its own clock genes, responding to signals from the brain and from one another. This is not chaos. It is coordination, a symphony of timing, played in silence, tuned by sunlight, and shaped by sleep. Shift workers, frequent travelers, night owls, they live with these clocks slightly out of sync. But even then, small adjustments help. Morning light, meals eaten on a schedule, avoiding screens before bed, moving during the day. These are not just healthy habits. They are gentle reminders to your inner clocks, whispers that say, we remember the rhythm. We can find it again. So the next time you feel tired or out of place, remember, it may not be you. It may be time itself gently nudging you to realign, to step back into your natural rhythm, to listen to the clock that lives in your cells that asks for nothing but rhythm and in return gives you clarity, balance, and peace. Let us now move deeper into the quiet rhythm of this inner timekeeper, tracing how the clock in every cell connects you to the patterns of life itself. The circadian rhythm is more than a schedule for sleep or a prompt for hunger. It is a master guide that helps your body maintain balance across every function, from energy use to emotional resilience. When the rhythm flows smoothly, everything feels aligned. Your thoughts are clearer, your movements lighter, your mood steadier. But when the rhythm is broken, the body whispers its confusion. Fatigue that lingers, appetite that shifts, moods that swell and fade like clouds without reason. At the cellular level, this clock is encoded in genes, timeless instructions passed from generation to generation. These clock genes activate and deactivate in a cycle, influencing which proteins are made and when. These proteins then guide the activities of each cell, regulating processes like DNA repair, hormone release, and immune response. This isn't random, it's a loop, a feedback cycle that repeats about every 24 hours. In liver cells, this rhythm controls when enzymes are most efficient. In fat cells, it tells the body when to store and when to burn. In immune cells, it determines the times of day when the body can defend itself best. The body does not fight all day long, it prepares, then rests. It does not digest at every hour, it follows the sun. Melatonin is one of the best-known players in this rhythm, a hormone released by the pineal gland in response to darkness. As light fades in the evening, melatonin levels rise, making the body feel sleepy. But this signal is fragile. Artificial light from lamps, screens, and streetlights tricks the brain into thinking night has not yet come. The signal to rest is dulled. The cycle is delayed. And so you lie awake, not because your body doesn't want sleep, but because the light has confused its clock. And when this happens night after night, the body pays a quiet cost: poorer memory, weaker immunity, less emotional stability. Sleep becomes shallow. Dreams fade quickly. The clock falls behind. In the morning, cortisol rises to help you wake. It is not a stress hormone only, it is a rhythm hormone, helping to fuel the body's readiness for the day. When this rise is skipped, by oversleeping, by disrupted rest, you may feel groggy, foggy, detached. The body expects a certain pattern, and when it doesn't find it, it waits. This is why consistency matters more than perfection. Sleeping and waking at similar times day after day tells the body, we are safe, we are in rhythm. But the circadian system doesn't only respond to light, it also responds to food. Eating at odd times, especially late at night, can misalign the clocks in your digestive organs. Your liver, expecting rest, is forced into work. Your pancreas, ready to slow down, must process sugar. Over time, this mismatch can contribute to metabolic problems, weight gain, insulin resistance, even higher risk of disease. Yet the solution is not harsh restriction, but gentle rhythm. Eating during daylight, allowing the body to fast overnight, brings the digestive system back into harmony with the central clock. Movement, too, is a signal. Exercise during the day, especially in the morning or early afternoon, reinforces wakefulness, boosts energy, and tells the body it is time to be alert. Movement in the evening, if too intense, may delay sleep. But gentle stretching, walking, or calming movement can help signal that the active day is closing. Your muscles, like your mind, respond to cues, light, food, motion, stillness. Even mood follows this rhythm. In the morning, you may feel more hopeful, more curious, more driven. As the day goes on, these feelings often settle into calm or introspection. At night, anxiety may rise, not because of the world, but because the brain is shifting into reflection. The nervous system slows, thoughts become less structured. Without structure, worry can grow. This is why nighttime routines matter. They anchor the brain as it transitions, offering it softness, quiet, and familiarity. A warm drink, dimmed lights, a familiar voice or sound. These things are not indulgences. They are reminders to the inner clock that the day is ending. Traveling across time zones can throw this rhythm into chaos. Jet lag is not just tiredness. It is a mismatch between your body's clocks and the sun's position. Your organs, your hormones, your thoughts are all trying to adjust to a new beat. This is why it takes days to feel normal again, because your inner clocks must slowly shift. Even 1 hour of change, as in daylight savings time, can affect alertness and health. Time is not just something we watch, it is something we feel all the way down to our cells. But what is most extraordinary is that your body remembers rhythm even when you forget. If you return to regular meals, consistent sleep, gentle mornings and quiet evenings, the body responds, it listens, it realigns. The inner clock does not judge, it only seeks to return to harmony. And once it does, you feel it, not all at once, but in subtle peace, deeper sleep, steadier moods, sharper thoughts, easier breath. You feel like yourself again, because you are. Now let us arrive gently at the final movement of this quiet, ticking story. The story of the clock inside you, always turning, always watching, always guiding. Even though you cannot see it or hear it, it is there, not in one place, but in all places at once. Every cell has its rhythm, every organ has its schedule, and they're all in conversation, all trying to stay in harmony. They are not machines following commands, they are listeners, responding to the sky, to your breath, to your habits. The inner clock is not rigid, it is tender, it is patient, and it learns from how you live. When you spend time in nature, watching the sunrise, walking in daylight, resting as the sky darkens, your inner clock feels at home. These are the conditions it was shaped by long before electricity, before alarms, before screens. Our ancestors rose with the sun and slept with the stars. Their bodies pulsed with the earth's rhythm, and though we now live in cities, under lights and behind walls, that ancient rhythm still lives in us. We are not separate from time, we are made of it. This inner timekeeping also touches something even deeper, your sense of identity, your sense of ease. When your circadian rhythm is aligned, there is a flow to the day. Meals feel satisfying, movement feels natural, sleep comes gently, emotions rise and fall in a smooth curve. Life does not feel perfect, but it feels possible. And when this rhythm is lost, when days blend into nights, when rest becomes restless, something fragile inside begins to fray. You may feel scattered, short-tempered, unsure. This is not failure. It is your body's quiet plea, bring me back into rhythm. The beauty is that this clock does not need to be reset all at once. Small shifts, waking at the same time each morning, stepping into light, eating mindfully, reducing bright screens at night. These are acts of kindness to your cells. They are not just wellness tips. They are timekeepers. They are how you say to your body, I see you, I will walk with you, I will listen, and slowly, gently the body listens back. Hormones adjust, sleep deepens, energy returns, and the clock, once blurry, begins to shine again. For those who live out of sync, night workers, new parents, caretakers, travellers and others, there is still grace. Rhythm may not be perfect, but it can be steady. You can still carve out consistency, even in changing hours. You can still protect rest, guard sleep, honour hunger, and listen for the signs your body sends. You're not broken if your time feels strange. You're only adjusting, and adjustment, when done with care, is a kind of rhythm all its own. There is something humbling in knowing that your body, so complex, so full of motion and thought, is grounded in something as simple as light and dark. That the turning of the earth, the rising and setting of the sun, is mirrored in your blood, your breath, your brainwaves. This is not just science, it is poetry. You're not separate from the world, you are made to move with it. And as you grow older, this rhythm may shift. You may rise earlier, sleep more lightly, digest more slowly. But the clock is still there, adapting with you. It does not stop. It only softens. It follows the seasons of your life, youth, adulthood, aging, all how shaped by time, all held by this internal pulse. Even in your final years, the body still keeps time. The rhythm may be slower, but it remains true. So now, wherever you are, morning light on your face, evening breeze at your window, soft hush of night wrapping around your breath, pause. Feel the pull of the day behind you, the gentle turn toward rest. This is not an end. It is a cycle, a reminder that time moves in circles and so do you. Let that be your peace. The clock that ticks in every cell is not counting down. It is counting with you, breath by breath, day by day. It asks nothing but rhythm, and it gives everything in return. Balance, clarity, rest, renewal. In this rhythm you are not alone. You are held, you are heard, you are part of something ancient and beautiful, the quiet dance of time inside the body. And in every silent tick you are becoming. All around you and deep within you, life is breathing. Not the breath of lungs, not the huge breath you feel in your chest, but the quiet, unseen breath of microbes. They are tiny, too small for the eye to see, yet they live in every corner of your world and in every corner of your body. In your mouth, on your skin, in your lungs, and especially in your gut, billions upon billions of these microbes are carrying out their lives. They do not ask your permission to be there, and yet without them you would not be whole. They digest your food, train your immune system, protect you from harm, and speak in soft, molecular whispers to every organ you possess. And though they have no brain, no nervous system, no lungs, still they breathe. And in their breath you are changed. These microbes, this vast invisible community, are not just passengers. They are co-authors of your body's story. They help determine how you digest food, how you fight infection, even how you feel. The balance between them matters. Some are helpful, others neutral, a few harmful if they grow too loud. But when the ecosystem is healthy, the helpful ones thrive, keeping the harmful ones quiet, guiding your body into balance. They live in cooperation, not chaos. Like a forest where each tree, each leaf, each root plays its part in the whole. In your gut, this microbial world is most alive. It is home to trillions of bacteria, fungi, and viruses, collectively known as the microbiota. These microbes do more than break down food. They produce vitamins like B12 and K. They ferment fibers into short-chain fatty acids that reduce inflammation and support the gut lining. They send chemical signals to your brain, influencing your mood and behavior. They shape your cravings, your sleep, even your immune responses, and they do all of this without ever asking for notice. They do not speak, they simply breathe and live and work. The breath of a microbe is not like your breath. It is the passing of gases through fermentation, the release of byproducts that, though invisible, shape your health. Some produce methane, others hydrogen or carbon dioxide. These gases are part of the digestive process, signs that life is thriving. When the balance shifts, when certain microbes grow too strong or others too weak, these gases change, and so do you. You may feel bloated, tired, foggy, anxious. It is not just digestion, it is the whisper of imbalance, of a forest out of rhythm. Yet this forest can regrow, the balance can return. You, with every bite of fermented food, every serving of fiber, every moment of calm, you help this community flourish. Prebiotics, the fibers your body cannot digest, become food for the good bacteria. Probiotics, live beneficial bacteria, help replant the forest. Even sleep and stress shape this balance. The microbes respond to cortisol. They shift with the rise and fall of your emotions. They are not distant. They are part of you. From the moment you are born, microbes begin their work. In the birth canal during your first breath, from the skin of your parents, they take their place. Breastfeeding adds more. Species that help digest milk fight pathogens, develop immunity. As you grow, your environment, your diet, your stress, and even your relationships continue to shape this inner world. No two microbiomes are exactly the same. Yours is as unique as your fingerprint, a living record of where you've been, what you've eaten, how you've felt. And though they are tiny, these microbes carry memory. They remember what foods you eat, what pathogens you've faced, what medicines you've taken. They change in response, adapting, shifting, rebuilding. Even antibiotics, which may clear infection, can also sweep away helpful microbes. But the forest can grow back, slowly, steadily. With nourishment and time, the breath of 1 billion microbes returns. These microbes do not just live in your gut. On your skin, they form protective layers. They keep harmful organisms away. In your mouth, they balance acidity and help prevent disease. In your lungs, once thought to be sterile, a delicate microbiome lives, helping to shape immune responses and prevent inflammation. You are not a single being. You are a collection, a shared space, a world of worlds. And still, you do not feel them. You cannot see them, but you are always in conversation with them. Through every breath, every bite, every moment of stillness or motion, you influence them, and they influence you. The breath of microbes is slow, constant, patient, and through it, you are kept alive. Let us journey now into the deeper spaces of this hidden world. the quiet realm where microbes breathe without lungs, where they live in patterns older than memory, where your body is not only host, but habitat. The breath of these microbes is not loud or forceful. It is soft, chemical, continuous, and it flows in response to how you live. Each meal you eat, each hour of rest you take, each moment of calm or stress becomes a signal to this microbial community, and in return they adjust, they reorganize, they breathe in new ways, and their breath, though unseen, reaches far. Inside the gut, the process is delicate. Microbes ferment fibers, breaking them down into short-chain fatty acids like butyrate, propionate, and acetate. These molecules are more than waste, they are messages. Butyrate, for example, nourishes the cells that line the colon, strengthens the gut barrier, and reduces inflammation. It is made by specific microbes, and its presence signals health. When diets lack fiber, those microbes weaken, and the lining of the gut becomes vulnerable. The balance begins to shift. But when fiber returns from fruits, vegetables, grains, the forest awakens. The breath of those microbes becomes richer, fuller, more supportive, and your body responds. These tiny lives also play a role in the immune system. They train it, from birth to know friend from foe. They teach it tolerance, to recognize harmless foods and peaceful microbes, and not to overreact. This training happens through breath-like exchanges, molecules and fragments passed between microbes and immune cells. When the balance is good, the immune system becomes wise. It responds calmly to true threats, and it rests when danger is gone. But when this microbial breath becomes imbalanced, the immune system may become confused. It may overreact to food, to dust, even to itself. This is how some allergies begin, and how autoimmunity may take hold, not in a single moment, but in a long, slow forgetting of peace. Even your brain listens to this breath. The gut and the brain are connected through the vagus nerve, but also through shared chemistry. Microbes produce neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and GABA, the same ones your brain uses to feel joy, calm, and focus. These chemicals are not just brain-born, they are microbe-spoken. When your microbial balance is calm, your thoughts often feel smoother, your mood lighter, your focus clearer. When it is disturbed, anxiety can rise, depression may deepen, fog may settle. This is not a metaphor. This is biology. The breath of microbes travels further than we ever imagined. In times of illness, this world shifts again. Fever, antibiotics, even stress can disrupt the forest. Harmful microbes may seize the moment, growing faster, releasing different gases, causing inflammation. But even here, repair begins quickly. The beneficial species, though quiet, are resilient. With rest, with nourishment, with care, they return, they rebuild, they rebalance, and the breath becomes peaceful again. Sleep plays a role as well. During restful nights, microbial populations stabilize. In sleep deprivation, their patterns become erratic. This leads to changes in glucose metabolism, appetite hormones, and inflammation, a ripple effect that touches the whole body. A single night of poor sleep may not disrupt much, but weeks of misalignment can shift the entire balance. The microbes, just like your cells, need rhythm, they need darkness, they need quiet. Your emotions, joy, grief, excitement, also leave their imprint. Cortisol, the stress hormone, changes microbial composition. Chronic stress thins the gut lining, reduces microbial diversity, and weakens immunity. But laughter, touch, stillness, and love, they do the opposite. They restore balance, they remind the body of safety, and the microbes respond in kind. Their breath becomes more balanced, their work becomes more generous. Even your birth, long ago, shaped your microbial path. Babies born vaginally inherit microbes from their mother's birth canal, rich in diversity, tuned for protection. Those born by caesarean may begin with a different set, shaped more by skin. Breastfeeding adds specific species that build immunity and digestive strength. Each stage of early life, crawling, tasting, playing in dirt, is a step in growing the microbiome. These microbes are not invaders, they are mentors. They teach your body how to live, and as you age, the microbiome changes again. In youth, it is dynamic and bold. In adulthood, it becomes stable. In older age, it may lose diversity, but this too can be shaped. A diet rich in plants, rich in colour and variety, restores strength. Movement helps, joy helps, connection helps. The breath of microbes remains flexible, ready to shift, to adapt, to support you through every season. So if you ever feel out of sync, tired without cause, bloated without reason, foggy without warning, pause and listen. It may be the breath of your microbes reaching out through chemistry and sensation. It may be the forest within asking for care. You don't need to fix it in a day. You only need to offer rhythm, fiber, sleep, stillness. The rest will follow, because the breath of a billion microbes is not just survival, it is communion. It is the softest reminder that life, even in its smallest forms, is always breathing with you. Now let us step quietly toward the closing of this story. The story of invisible breath, of a billion lives that live in your shadow, yet shape so much of your light. These microbes, these silent companions, do not ask for attention, they do not make noise or demand praise, and yet they give. They work without rest, without recognition, performing tasks so essential that your body could not last without them. They are older than you, older than language, older even than the human form itself, and still, they are with you, evolving, learning, adjusting, and always breathing alongside you. Each breath of a microbe is like a vote, a quiet influence on your health, your mood, your future. With every breath they take, they build a world inside you, one of structure and softness, protection and communication, one where nutrients are shared, invaders are kept at bay, signals are sent from gut to brain to heart. This is not magic, it is a living blueprint, written not in ink but in breath and balance. You are not one voice. You're a chorus, and your microbes are part of that song. Think of how gently this world responds to care. You do not need to measure every gram of food or memorize every species. You only need to live with rhythm. Eat plants of many colors. Move your body in ways it enjoys. Laugh often. Sleep deeply. Let your hands touch soil. Let your feet meet the ground. Let stillness return to your mind, even if just for a few minutes each day. These acts are not small. They are invitations, doors that open to let the breath of microbes expand once more, restoring harmony where silence once fell. And when illness comes, as it sometimes does, the microbiome shifts again. Inflammation may rise, unhelpful microbes may grow, but healing is not only about fighting, it is about remembering. The forest remembers what balance felt like. With time and nourishment, the helpful strains grow again, slowly replanting what was lost. Even after antibiotics, even after years of stress, the microbiome never gives up. It tries, it returns, it begins again, in the soft dark of the gut, in the warmth of your breath. Some scientists now study the microbiome not just to understand health, but to understand identity. How we respond to medicine, why we crave certain foods, how our immune systems evolve. The answers are not only in our DNA, but in our microbes, passed down through generations, shaped by culture, geography, soil, and story. You're not only your cells, you're also the echo of 1,000 meals, 1,000 moments of contact, 1,000 breaths shared with life you cannot see. Even your emotions are echoed in this world. When you feel connected, safe, seen, your body relaxes. The vagus nerve activates. The gut finds ease. The microbes respond. They breathe differently. They shift toward balance. Connection heals more than minds. It heals the inner breath, the chemical symphony that flows from cell to cell. You're never just feeling alone. You're changing biologically with every emotion. And so in every quiet moment, as you lie in bed before sleep, as you sip warm tea at sunrise, as you walk beneath trees or sit near a window, your microbes are there, breathing with you. They do not rest when you do. They continue faithfully, silently, shaping you from within. You are not alone in your body. You are shared space, lived space, a breathing world wrapped in skin. This truth is not frightening, it is freeing. It means you are never truly separate. You are part of a web of life woven through with beings that exist only to balance, to transform, to keep you whole. The breath of a billion microbes does not ask for control, it asks only for care, for rhythm, for a little stillness each day to catch its breath. So let that be your comfort, that inside you always, life is reaching toward balance, that in the smallest corners, the most hidden rooms of your being, breath is rising and falling, not from lungs, but from something older, quieter, more constant. You are not empty space, you're full of life, and that life in turn fills you with health, with feeling, with peace. Even now as you read this, 1 billion tiny lives are breathing, and their breath is shaping you. You are not alone. You are never alone. You are a home, and you are deeply, gently, beautifully alive. Time is always moving. It flows like a river, slipping past without a sound, touching everything it passes. We live by it, measure with it, chase after it, and yet no one has ever truly held it. We watch clocks. We feel the change in light. We see our skin change, our thoughts deepen, our memories stack like pages in a slow-turning book. But what if time too grows tired? What if in certain places, in certain moments, time does not rush or vanish, but simply rests? In your body, in the deepest corners of nature, and even in the silence of space, there are places where time slows down, where it curls up like a sleeping animal and lets the world breathe a little more gently. These are the places where time falls asleep. Inside your own body, time moves at many speeds. It rushes through the neurons in your brain when you solve a puzzle, but drifts slowly in the cells of your bones. Some of your cells are reborn every few days. Others live for years. Some change quickly with every emotion. Others remain steady for a lifetime. You are a being of layered time. Your thoughts may race, but your bones remember slowly. Your breath may shift with each moment, but your DNA carries a memory written billions of years ago. Inside you, time does not march in one direction. It spirals, it sways, it pulses in patterns that science is still learning to understand. When you fall asleep, time behaves differently. In dreams, minutes can feel like hours. Your brain releases its grip on the ticking of clocks. You float in images, symbols, strange emotions that seem both ancient and new. Outside, the night passes at its usual pace. But inside, your perception of time folds. Neurons fire in unfamiliar rhythms. The body repairs itself, muscle, memory, immune response, all timed to this sacred pause. This is not escape. This is another rhythm, one built into your biology, designed to remind you that not all time must be fast. Not all time must be known. There are also places on Earth where time seems to soften. In caves where sunlight never enters, people who dwell too long lose track of days. Their bodies shift into slower rhythms. In deep oceans, creatures live for centuries, untouched by the haste of surface life. In Arctic winters, some animals slow their heartbeats, lower their temperatures, and enter states so still it is as if time has stopped inside them. Bears do not feel the months pass when they hibernate. Trees do not rush to bloom when buried in snow. Nature knows that time is not always meant to be chased. Sometimes it is meant to be held lightly, or even set down. Even in the farthest reaches of the universe, time does not behave the same. Near a black hole, time slows dramatically. From far away, a person falling into one would appear frozen, suspended just above its edge, forever paused. Clocks placed on the tall towers tick faster than those at the base, because gravity bends time itself. Astronauts who spend time in space and moving quickly far from Earth's pull age just slightly slower than those on the ground. These differences are tiny, almost invisible, but they are real. Time is not as steady as we once believed. Children experience time differently than adults. For them, a year is a vast ocean. A summer can stretch forever. As we grow older, time appears to accelerate. This isn't because it truly moves faster, but because our brains measure time by how many new memories we make. When days are filled with wonder and learning, time feels full. When life becomes routine, the days blur. Time passes quietly like wind through leaves. The secret, perhaps, is not to slow time but to notice it, to fill it with meaning so that it stretches again. There are also moments, rare and deep, when time truly seems to fall asleep. When you hold someone you love, when you stand beneath the stars in total silence, when music moves through you and nothing else matters. In those moments, clocks fade. You're not bound to seconds or minutes. You're simply present. And in presence, time loosens its grip. These are the sacred pauses, the ones that remind us we are more than our schedules, more than our calendars, more than the hands of a clock can hold. Time is not your enemy. It is not a thief. It is a partner, soft and curious, asking only that you pay attention. When it falls asleep, even briefly, it does so to let you rest, to let you breathe, to remind you that you are not made to move endlessly. You are made to move in rhythms, fast, slow, still, to grow and pause, to remember and forget, and then to begin again. So the next time you feel rushed or worn, remember this. Inside you, time already knows how to slow, already knows how to fall asleep. All you have to do is close your eyes, breathe, and follow it into the stillness. Let's drift even further now into the hidden folds where time grows soft and slow, not as something lost, but something woven gently into life. In the cells of your body, time does not move in one straight line. Some of your cells divide rapidly, like those in your skin and gut, renewing every few days. Others move through their lives slowly, barely changing, like the neurons in your brain or the muscle fibers of your heart. Each cell has its own tempo, its own rhythm. The liver regenerates itself almost completely in months. Bones rebuild over years. Red blood cells live about 20 days. Some immune cells remember infections from decades ago. You are not moving through time. Time is moving through you at many speeds all at once. Consider the clock in your brain, the circadian rhythm, which wakes you each morning and lets you rest at night. This rhythm is not just a routine. It is a deep biological pulse that reaches into every tissue, every system. Your body warms in the day and cools at night. Your hormones rise and fall in perfect sequence. Digestion, alertness, healing, all follow a hidden clock. And this clock, though tuned to the sun, can be softened. It can be changed. A dark room, a glowing screen, a sleepless night, all can shift your perception of time. And when that rhythm is disrupted, the world feels out of sync. Hours blur, days stretch, nights become heavier. This is not failure. It is simply your body trying to find its way back to the steady beat of its own time. In illness, time slows even more. Pain stretches seconds into hours. Recovery moves like mist, slow, uncertain, full of quiet effort. Healing is never fast. It is patient. Inside wounds, cells divide, rebuild, restore. Bones knit together one molecule at a time. Inflammation fades in waves. Muscles remember strength, then regain it. No part of the body demands speed. It only asks for steadiness. You do not rush a tree into bloom. You do not hurry the ocean's tide. Your body too knows that deep change takes time, and sometimes that means falling still. There are also places inside you where time holds memory. In your brain, the hippocampus gathers fragments, sights, smells, feelings, and strings them into stories. This too happens in waves. Some memories are laid down instantly, others need sleep to settle. Still others rise years later, triggered by a scent or a song. These are not files stored in drawers. They are patterns of activity, echoes of breath and thought. And time within memory is strange. A decade can return in a heartbeat. A single day can be forgotten forever. The mind does not follow clocks. It follows meaning. It stores what matters and lets go of what does not. When you lose someone, time behaves differently still. Grief has no schedule. It ignores calendars. At first, days may crawl, each hour heavy with ache. Then time may speed up again, leaving you behind. The heart moves in spirals, back and forth, forward and back, and healing becomes less about moving on and more about moving with. Some losses become softer with time, others stay sharp. But always, time moves differently through sorrow. It does not forget. It simply reshapes. You do not outgrow pain, you grow around it. In nature, time is held gently. A seed sleeps in the soil through winter, waiting for warmth. A caterpillar wraps itself in stillness, becoming something new in darkness. Glaciers move, carving mountains in slow, low, unseen effort. Coral reefs grow an inch a year, yet create whole worlds. Even trees which seem unmoving are full of slow decisions, sending roots deeper in dry years, reaching higher in light. These are not passive things. They are simply things that know time differently. They live by rhythms that do not rush, and in doing so they thrive. There are also sacred traditions that honor slow time. Rituals passed down across generations, the slow making of bread, the careful weaving of cloth, the long silence of meditation. These are not inefficient acts. They are deep acts, acts that require presence, patience, attention. In a world that hurries, these rituals remind us that time, when slowed, becomes richer, fuller, more alive. Even aging, so often feared, it is a kind of slow time. Wrinkles are not signs of weakness. They are soft records of laughter, of worry, of days spent under sun and moon. Grey hair is not loss. It is silver written by the seasons. Your body will change, but that change is not decline. It is a story unfolding. You're not leaving youth. You're becoming whole. And so within you, around you, and far beyond you, time is not one thing. It is many things. It is fast and slow, sharp and soft, noisy and quiet. Sometimes it lifts you. Sometimes it pauses. Sometimes in the quietest hours it curls up and rests beside you. And in those moments you are free from chasing, free from rushing. You are simply here. Where time falls asleep, life becomes softer. Breath becomes deeper. The world becomes still, not empty but waiting. Not silent, but listening. And in that stillness something begins to open. Not the next task, not the next hour, but the gentle reminder that you too are allowed to rest. Now let us move slowly toward the closing hush of this story, where time is not counted, but cradled, not chased, but understood. The idea that time must always move forward, always press onward, is not found in nature. It is something we invented, carved into numbers and schedules and alarms, but inside you, beneath those layers of urgency, your body knows a different kind of time, one that pulses, pauses, circles back, drifts forward again. A kind of time that doesn't ask for speed, only rhythm. One that makes space for stillness, for slowness, for sleep. You see it in the way breath settles when you lie down, the way your heartbeat slows as your eyes begin to close. Your nervous system shifts from alertness to ease, from readiness to rest. The parasympathetic system, the body's quiet caretaker, begins to hum. Digestion deepens, muscles soften. Hormones for healing and repair rise in the bloodstream. This is not failure, this is not weakness, this is biology. This is time folding inward, wrapping around your cells, offering them space to restore. In sleep, the brain washes itself with slow waves. It clears out waste, it rebalances chemicals. Dreams arrive like soft messengers, shaping memory, exploring emotion. This is where time breathes more slowly, where it loses its sharp edges. And it is not only in sleep that time softens, it softens when you are truly present, in those moments where the mind stops calculating and the heart simply listens. When you sit beside someone you love and say he's done nothing but feel everything. When you walk through a quiet forest and forget what hour it is. When you lose yourself in music or story or sky. These are the places where time forgets to tick, where it drifts into the background, and life becomes a current you no longer swim against but float within. The deepest parts of the ocean are nearly timeless. There, in the cold and dark, creatures drift in patterns that span decades. Some fish do not breed until they are 40. Some corals live for centuries. Their growth rings are like tree rings, soft calendars of the deep. Above ground, in the stillness of winter, bears sleep for months without eating. Their hearts slow, their breath deepens, but they do not age the same way. Their bones do not weaken, their muscles do not waste. It is as if time itself has paused to let them rest. Scientists now believe that even cells can enter states of suspended animation, pausing their activity when conditions are too harsh, too cold, too dry. Tardigrades, microscopic creatures, can survive decades without water, curled into a tight ball, waiting for the right moment to return. Their time slows almost to stillness, and then, when the environment softens, they awaken, unchanged. This is not escape, this is wisdom, a knowing that life sometimes needs pause more than progress, and humans too carry this potential. In moments of deep meditation, brain activity shifts, time perception changes, the sense of self becomes diffuse. What remains is presence, a quiet awareness, a soft unfolding. People speak of these moments not as rushes but as rests, timeless states where being is enough. These states are not reserved for the enlightened. They live in everyone. They wait in the still corners of the day, in long baths, in long walks, in long silences. Time here falls asleep, and you awaken. Even our language holds this truth. We say take your time, but time is not something to take. It is something to make space for. We say lose track of time, but what we lose is the weight of it, the pressure. What we find is often more real. Ease, flow, wonder. In the end, time is not a taskmaster. It is a tide. It moves with us, around us, through us, and sometimes it rests with us too. So let this be your permission to rest. Not as a break from productivity, but as a return to truth. Let your body slow without guilt. Let your thoughts soften without explanation. You're not wasting time. You're remembering how to be inside it, how to let it hold you, not chase you, how to listen for the places where time falls asleep, in laughter, in silence, in the spaces between heartbeats. You do not need to move fast to be worthy. You do not need to measure every hour to make life meaningful. Your value is not found in your speed. It is found in your presence, in the way you breathe, in the way you notice, in the way you let time rest beside you like a friend who has walked far, and now simply needs a place to sit. Where time falls asleep, you begin to remember that life is not a race, but a rhythm, that not all things bloom at once, that the most beautiful moments are often the quietest. That stillness is not empty. It is full of life waiting to be felt. Let time fall asleep inside you. Let it dream, let it breathe, and in that breath you will remember what it means to be alive.